Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. You know, I was watching General Hospital the other day, and right away Chase showed up with this huge bouquet of flowers for Willow, looking at her like she was the only woman in the world. He even remembered her favorite kind from their old days together. It was supposed to be a thank you because she helped him and Brooklyn become foster parents to little Phoebe, but man, it just didn't feel right. A married man with a wife and a brand new baby girl at home shouldn't be showing up alone with flowers that make his ex light up like that. He should have let Brooklyn handle it, or at least brought them together as a couple. But no, there he was, all smiles and soft eyes, blurring those lines again. I sat there shaking my head thinking, son, you're playing with fire. For a while, Chase had been doing real good. He stood by Brooklyn. They built a family, and that sweet little Phoebe brought so much joy into their home. Everything looked solid, like they were finally getting their happy ending. But now that old obsession with Willow is creeping back in. He can't seem to let her go, even though he's got everything a man could want right in front of him. It worries me for Brooklyn. She's already stressed out about Jordan's accident, trying to hold the family together, and now this? I can imagine how her heart's going to sink when she hears about those flowers. She's a strong woman with a good heart, but even the strongest have their limits. Chase keeps acting like this, and he's going to push her right to the edge. I've seen marriages crack over less in real life. And that poor little Phoebe, she deserves a daddy who's fully present, not one whose mind is still halfway with his ex. Kids pick up on these things, even the tiny ones. They need peace and stability, not drama and divided hearts. Willow might be pretty, but from what I've watched all these years, she stirs up trouble wherever she goes. She's not bringing calm into anyone's life. Chase needs to wake up and remember who he's married to. He's got a loving wife, a beautiful daughter, and a fresh start most folks would pray for. Letting old feelings fog up his good sense is just asking for heartbreak. You know, Brooklyn came home the other day looking completely worn out, like the weight of the whole world was pressing down on her shoulders. That poor girl is convinced she played a part in Jordan's terrible accident, and Tracy has been working hard to convince her to keep the whole truth buried deep. It's tearing her up inside something awful. She walks around the house with this faraway look in her eyes, barely sleeping at night, pushing her food around on the plate without really eating. Every quiet moment, you can just see the guilt eating away at her. She's so wrapped up in her own secret and the fear of what might happen if it comes out that right now she isn't even paying attention to what her husband is doing or the mess he's creating with Willow. But trust me, that's going to change real soon, and when it does, it's going to hit her like a ton of bricks. While Brooklyn is quietly falling apart at home, trying her best to hold the family together and carry this heavy secret all by herself, Chase is still out there making the same foolish mistakes over and over. He keeps showing up with those big, beautiful bouquets of flowers for Willow, handing them to her with that soft, longing look in his eyes like the years between them never happened. He even remembered her favorite flowers from their old days together. And then instead of keeping his focus where it belongs, he starts talking to Willow about how sure he is that Michael shot Drew, saying it like it's plain old fact. He just can't seem to let that idea go, no matter what. I sat there watching and thought, son, you are walking straight into trouble with your eyes wide open. Brooklyn is already plenty upset with her husband for constantly accusing Michael of things. She loves her family and doesn't like hearing Chase run down Michael all the time. When she finally finds out that he's still running off to confide in Willow about it, sharing those suspicions behind her back, it's going to cut her even deeper than before. She's already carrying so much pain and fear about Jordan's accident. The last thing she needs is her own husband adding more heartbreak by chasing after his ex and stirring up drama with her family at the same time. Chase has got everything a man could ever dream of right in front of him, a wife who has stood by him through good times and bad, a beautiful little Phoebe they just brought into their home as foster parents, and a real chance at building a warm, stable life together. That sweet baby girl looks at him with so much trust, and Brooklyn has been fighting hard to make their family work. But instead of staying close to his girls, helping carry the heavy load that Brooklyn is bearing alone right now, he's running after Willow like a man who's forgotten what loyalty, marriage, and real responsibility mean. He's letting that old admiration and those leftover feelings pull him away when he should be home protecting what he's got. I feel for the boy in some ways, but he really needs to wake up soon before it's too late. That kind of blind spot for Willow could destroy his entire life. He could lose his wife who loves him, the home they've made together, and that precious little girl who didn't ask to be brought into any of this mess all because he can't see straight and can't close the book on the past. One of these days, Chase is going to stumble onto the real truth about Willow, and it's going to hit him harder than anything. He'll find out she's the one who tried to kill Drew, but by the real P way too late to turn back. She could turn on him the same cold way she did with Drew, and he'll be left standing there with nothing but deep regret in his hands. It would serve him right in some ways, because a man who doesn't value what he has doesn't deserve to keep it. But still, it hurts to watch someone throw away something so good and so real. Brooke Lynn deserves so much better than what she's getting right now. She's been strong for so long, dealing with one drama after another, and now she's carrying this terrible burden about Jordan's accident completely alone. She needs a husband who comes home every day, ready to stand right beside her, hold her hand through the hard times, and put her and their daughter first. That little Phoebe needs a daddy whose heart and mind are fully there with her, not one who's always looking somewhere else, chasing old memories and pretty smiles that bring nothing but trouble. Chase should be thinking about his wife and daughter every single minute, protecting them, supporting them, and being the steady man they can count on. But right now, he's not doing any of that. He's leaving his wife to struggle with her guilt and fear while he runs off to Willow. That kind of mistake rarely ends well in real life or on the screen. Family is the most precious thing any of us ever get, and once you start cracking it with divided loyalty and poor choices, the pieces don't always fit back together the same way again. I sure hope Chase opens his eyes wide and soon, before everything he says he loves slips right through his fingers and leaves him with nothing but empty hands and a broken heart. Brooke Lynn deserves so much better than this. She's a strong, good-hearted woman who has been through enough already. She doesn't need a weak man like Chase who can't stay loyal when things get hard. She needs someone who will stand beside her through the guilt and fear she's carrying about Jordan, someone who puts her first instead of running off to another woman. She's been fighting to keep their family together while he's been tearing it apart with his divided heart. Watching her suffer in silence while Chase creates more drama just breaks my heart. That little Phoebe is caught in the middle too. She needs a father who is fully present, not one who might end up paralyzed and broken because he couldn't let go of the past. Chase had everything right in his hands, but his weakness and greed are about to cost him all of it. I've seen this kind of story play out before. A man thinks he can have it both ways, but life has a way of making him pay the full price. Brooke Lynn has a good heart, and she's been loyal. She deserves a man who is strong enough to be there for her, to protect their family, and to close the door on the past once and for all. Chase had his chance to be that man, but he threw it away. Now he's facing the kind of reckoning that might leave him with nothing but regret and an empty house. It's a hard lesson, but maybe it's exactly what a man like him needs to learn. I keep hoping he snaps out of it soon. A real man protects his family, closes the old chapters, and stays loyal to what he's built. Family is too precious to gamble with. I'll be watching tomorrow, coffee in hand, wondering if Chase finally sees what he's risking before it's too late. These stories sure do pull at your heartstrings, don't they?